Real cases, real judgment. Judge Carroll always gets it right.
The Bahamas National Youth Choir traveled to Convalor, France to participate in its annual folk festival.
First of all, they wanted authentically Bahamian music, and then they want to identify what we can bring for the diaspora.
Being a traveling choir, we get to experience so many different cultures, and so it number one, gives us a greater appreciation for who we are as a people.
There are a lot of different styles of dances and singing that I had never seen before that I found very interesting.
When we present it in the international light, we can be presented that even a person that does not speak English can understand the body language that we're doing.
Crystal clear waters, endless pink sand beaches, and the heartbeat of Bahamian culture. This October, all eyes will turn to beautiful Harbor Island as the sail rise for the North Eleuthera Regatta. And when it comes to covering the excitement, no other station captures it better than ZNS.
The North Eleuthera Regatta, yes, it's back after some years.
Make plans to be there October 8th through the 13th. The North Eleuthera Regatta under the theme, Regatta, the return, then and now. Your number one team in the North. Only the sun covers the Bahamas better.
And that is going to do it for us here in the North. I'm Ramiko Knowles.
And I'm Jay Philippe.
Thanks so much for watching. Here's a live look at the Bahamas tonight, coming your way next.
ZNS News is brought to you by the new BTC. Fiber is here. Faster, stronger, more reliable. Together, we are unstoppable. Switch today.
First at 11. Biometric voting cards and how it all will work to modernize the electoral process, the central topic of a series of planned town hall meetings as part of the education process for the public. Also, a look at the challenges and successes of the region over the last year and the way forward. Tonight, we learn more from the One Caribbean Conference being held at the Bahamas Resort. And as the United States government makes way to process U.S. visa applications for Haitians in the Bahamas, find out what our minister responsible for immigration has to say to concerns of a potential influx of illegal migration. The Bahamas Tonight at 11 starts now. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the broadcast. The Parliamentary Registration Department kickstarting its education campaign on the new voting process with help from all media platforms and a series of town hall meetings. The goal is to ensure everyone's ready when national and local elections are called. Well, Family Island administrators are assembled here in the capital for a training exercise. Corville Pyfram leads us off tonight at 11.
This was the charge Thursday to Family Island administrators and other senior local government officials participating in this two-day seminar put on by the Parliamentary Registration Department from its head, Harrison Thompson.
So I want to charge you to ensure that you stick to the rules, follow the guidelines that have been set, and the training that we're giving you for these 2 days.
Minister with responsibility for elections, National Security Minister, the Honorable Wayne Monroe, underscoring the significance of the Parliamentary Registration Department, telling officials how their work helps guide both the electoral and governmental processes.
Some may wonder why the Parliamentary Registration Department is actually in the Ministry of National Security. For myself, I think it is a natural place for it to be, because if you reflect on it, what you will be doing next year, sometime that only one man knows that date, will impact national security.
As the Parliamentary Registration Department prepares to roll out biometric cards, Minister Monroe telling reporters on the sidelines of Thursday's session he doesn't anticipate any hiccups with the new system.
It's technology that's not new. Anyone who has entered the Bahamas and used the kiosk, you scan your passport, you look at the camera, you put down your print, and it shoots out a piece of paper. This is the person whose passport this is. Here is a picture of them. It's basically that same technology, only for a different purpose.
For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Corvell Pfeiffer.
Thanks so much, Corvell. During a recent visit to Eleuthera, Minister of Tourism, Investments and Aviation, Deputy Prime Minister, the Honourable Chester Cooper, heard concerns from local tourism stakeholders. These business persons raised a number of issues posing challenges not only to them, but to Eleuthera's overall success as a leading island destination. The Deputy Prime Minister heard complaints about shoddy infrastructure, constant power disruptions, and even more frustrating for residents and businesses alike, rising energy costs. Mr. Cooper called the session productive and confirmed measures should already be coming on stream to ease some of those challenges.
Yes, there are some concerns. Some can be fixed or helped by Eleutherans themselves, but this was a lively, engaged conversation. They raised questions about infrastructure, the need to improve power. I'm taking that message back to the minister responsible and the Prime Minister that it's a source of great frustration. I know that we are, as a government, we're working on developments all across the islands. We're putting in place a lot of renewable energy infrastructure that's going to help with the reliability and hopefully reduce the cost. But I recognize that this is a short-term pain, and therefore we are taking the message back that it's a source of great frustration.
Water supply troubles is another concern raised by Eleuthera's business and industry leaders, an issue the Deputy Prime Minister assured is also being addressed with relief coming.
When you fly over, you see new tanks and new infrastructural developments for water all across the island of Eleuthera. Sometimes that water is impacted by unreliable power. It's an issue of concern. Minister Sweeting is agitating every week for improvements, and I hope for the sake of the residents and businesses here that we're going to see progress in short order.
For a quarter of a century, Aztec Airways, a still relatively small airline, has provided direct flight service between Fort Lauderdale and several stops here in the Bahamas. Over the years, its routes have increased, and beginning later this fall, a further expansion will occur as Aztec Airways starts direct services to Georgetown, Exuma. We recently spoke with the airline's president and CEO, Stuart Hanley, who says his company remains rooted in community.
Georgetown is a big expansion for us. Right now, with that'll be our 11th destination. So we have a pretty strong presence in the northern Bahamas, but you know, we go where people ask for. I mean, we're a commuter airline, and commuter begins with community. So our goal is to serve the community. So wherever they ask us to do, we'll do it.
One Caribbean, the Inter-American Development Bank's comprehensive framework recognizes the common challenges facing the region and addresses them through a territorial focus and coordinated regional approach. Today, stakeholders met at the Bahamas Resort to discuss the year in review and the way forward. One Caribbean's 4 main priorities, according to the IDB consultant Christopher Sinclair, are food security, climate adaptation and disaster risk management, citizen security and private sector engagement, all collectively challenging Caribbean countries like Jamaica, Barbados, and here, the Bahamas.
IDB, through its programming, has now shifted some of its focus towards creating a greater impact at scale. This is bigger, impacting more through doing regional programming collectively among the countries, so that we're not just going to be doing individual programs. Those will continue. Each country has a country strategy, but we're going to find the common elements among these and coordinate. So for example, even with this project preparation facility, we say if you bring a project to us, it must be regional in focus, or if national, it must have regional replicability. That means it can be implemented in more than one country. So you have an excellent project in say, Bahamas on water and sanitation, we would look at the lessons, we would look at the structuring, we would look at the experiences and say, hey, you know what? In Trinidad and Tobago, there is a need for water and sanitation.
One Caribbean launched the One Safe Caribbean initiative last year to combat transnational organized crime, enhance innovative climate finance instrument, and design a multi-donor trust fund, among other accomplishments. On the initiative's to-do list this year is expanding the coverage of quality and efficient healthcare in the region, strengthening the water sector, and scaling up the Regional Fiscal Research Center at the University of the West Indies.
And we want to be able to progress as quickly as we can, because, you know, development can't wait. People's livelihoods and lives need to be transformed, but we want to do it in a responsible way. So we want to, you know, be consistent in our approach to dealing with the environment, dealing with gender, dealing with inclusion, dealing with bringing people who are marginalized into the space, reducing poverty. So our thing is to ensure that we can get countries as close as possible to achieving their sustainable development goals.
It started in less than 10 schools, but today the National Breakfast Program has expanded to more than half of the 160 public schools countrywide. That's impacting the lives of more and more students. Cleopatra Murphy has that story tonight.
The school breakfast program marked a major milestone Thursday morning, celebrating 1 million breakfasts served to primary school students since it began in 2023.
No one thought that when we started with the 8 schools that we would be here today. With all of these schools, 115, 1 million breakfasts. No one thought. They might have said, oh, it's a gimmick. It's not a gimmick. It's a commitment to the children of this nation.
A commitment that Minister of Education, Technical and Vocational Training, the Honorable Glenys Hannah Martin, says is producing results, leading to an increase in school attendance and better academic performance. She was joined by Prime Minister, the Honorable Philip Davis, Minister of Social Services, Information and Broadcasting, the Honorable Miles Larota, and education officials at Cleveland Eneas Primary School as they marked the occasion with youngsters who were taking full advantage of the opportunity to fuel their brains. Director of Education, Dominique McCartney-Russell, is pleased with the initiative.
We are really excited to partner with parents who do not have to provide the breakfast for their children. We're in the preschools, we are in the primary schools, we are in special schools, the central secondary schools, and all of our students love the program. And it's not just about fueling the brain, but if you watch the children, they're seated, they are having communication with one another, and so it also feeds that social aspect of their development.
Prime Minister Davis and Minister Larota, the area's Member of Parliament, say the breakfast program has been extremely impactful for students.
It is our view that no child should start the morning hungry. And the program has been proving beneficial. We still have a lot to do. We have improved grades, we've improved attendance, and there's still a lot more to be done.
We found that it's increased the student population, kids who come to school, and it's reflective in their grades. And the Prime Minister's position and the Minister of Education position is it's going to be hard for kids to learn if their stomach is empty.
Some 20,000 students across the country now benefit from the program. The Minister of Education is hopeful that it can one day expand to junior high and senior high schools. For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Cleopatra Murphy.
Thanks so much, Cleopatra. Still to come, remembering the September 11th terrorist attacks. You're watching the Bahamas Tonight at 11. More news in just a moment.
You have enough things to worry about. Living in a world that can seem opposite of the things you are trying to accomplish.
I can need a little help with this month.
We're here to let you know that you don't have to go at it alone. Choose peace of mind. Choose comfort. Choose CB. Commonwealth Bank, leader in personal banking services.
Your home is your sanctuary. The last thing you need to worry about is rodents. Once they enter your property, they can be tough to get out. If you're concerned about rodents, call Rent-A-Kill Initial. We offer the latest, most effective treatment for safe, fast, and long-lasting results. From prevention to elimination, our integrated approach guarantees protection. For rodent control you can trust, there's only one name in the Bahamas. Rent-A-Kill Initial.
It's me, Wednesday Addams.
Your life just took a dark turn. I regret to inform you that I have devised the meal of misfortune with Wendy's. It's pure torture for your taste buds, with 4 nightmarish dips of dread. Don't waste my time asking which ones you'll get. You must surrender to your fate. Enjoy the anguish.
After more than a decade, the Bahamas may soon have itself a new United States ambassador. American professional athlete, business leader, and community advocate Herschel J. Walker began the nomination process this morning to become the country's top U.S. diplomat here. Altabese Munnings joins us in studio with details of Walker's enthusiasm and optimism to solidify America's diplomatic relations with the Bahamas. Good evening, and thanks for joining us, Altabese.
And good evening to you. 63-year-old Herschel J. Walker declared in his testimony to the United States Senate Foreign Relations Committee Thursday that although he has never officially held the title of ambassador, he has spent decades serving as an informal ambassador to American youth, military, and professional athletes. That, coupled with his successful entrepreneurial ventures. The United States ambassador to the Bahamas nominee assured that if he's confirmed, he will prioritize keeping American tourists and visitors and residents, safe and secure, as well as work closely with the Bahamian government on all matters pertaining to mutual security.
China is trying to increase its influence in the region. It has built nearly a $3 billion deep water port in the Bahamas and has made other moves that can threaten our national security. There is a rise in the drug smuggling there in the Bahamas, and this is a real danger to the United States. The threat of America's lives cannot be overstated. Tackling this serious problem requires leadership, cooperation between our government.
The Bahamas' close proximity to the U.S. mainland, the trade partnership and foreign relations interests formed the nucleus of the questions pitched to Walker by the U.S. Senate Foreign Relations Committee.
What policy approaches, in your judgment, should we pursue to help the Bahamas resist Chinese pressure?
Work with a lot of the American companies to come to the Bahamas to see the key investments that they can make down in the Bahamas to combat against China, because I think they're coming down with a lot of money. And so if we can get other American companies to come down to invest as well in the Bahamas, that'll be a starting point.
Can you work to build an even stronger law enforcement and counter-narcotic relationship between the United States and the Bahamas?
I can build a championship team if we're all working together, and I can commit to that I can get them to know how important that they will be in the Bahamas and getting things done.
The Senate Foreign Relations Committee will now vote on whether to recommend Walker to the full Senate for confirmation. The committee can give a favorable, unfavorable, or no recommendation at all. Now, to be confirmed, a nominee must receive a majority of the votes in the U.S. Senate. This is a story we are continuing to follow. Reporting live in studio for the Bahamas tonight, I'm Altabese Munnings. Back to you.
Thanks so much, Altabese. National Security Minister, the Honorable Wayne Monroe, challenging assertions by the man tapped to be the next U.S. ambassador to the Bahamas, who claims the lack of a U.S. ambassador to this country has increased drug trafficking throughout the Bahamas. Herschel Walker made the claim during his Senate nomination hearing Thursday. However, Minister Monroe, who admits he hadn't listened to the entire session, says the evidence simply does not support that assertion.
Since 2021, drug interdictions have gone up. As a matter of fact, the cause for the increase in cocaine smuggling is that Colombia stopped destroying the coca fields. That happened as a fact. So when they used to destroy the coca fields, that affected supply. When you stop destroying the coca fields, that means supply is back up, and the public would see that there have been many, many interdictions by the Royal Bahamas Defense Force, the police force, the U.S. Coast Guard, across the border, all the way from down south in the Caribbean, in the Pacific, and here in the Bahamas, trying to get through.
Meanwhile, Immigration Minister the Honorable Alfred Sears is reiterating the Davis administration's stance on the processing of Haitian visas to the United States here in the Bahamas. That announcement prompting an immediate response from the government, which noted in a statement that this will result in no additional entries to the Bahamas for the purpose of U.S. visa applications. The statement added that because U.S. policy fully restricts entry to their country by Haitian nationals, we will not grant entry to the Bahamas for the purpose of applying for a U.S. visa. Despite that assurance, though, many concerns have been raised about how the government intends to ensure there's not an influx of illegal migrants entering the country.
The Minister of Foreign Affairs, the Office of the Prime Minister has spoken to that. And the visa policies of the Bahamas is part of the sovereign exercise of the Bahamian government. And the government has spoken to it in unequivocal terms. The government has announced what the visa policy is. I stand behind that.
Americans today marking 24 years since the 9/11 attacks. Nearly 3,000 people were killed that fateful Tuesday when Al-Qaeda terrorists hijacked 4 commercial airlines, flying 2 of them directly into the Twin Towers of the World Trade Center in New York City. Since then, the U.S. has waged a global war on terror groups and countries supporting terrorists. Security measures have also been increased during traveling. U.S. President Donald Trump has forewarned that if America is attacked, those responsible will be hunted down. Al-Majal Knowles has a look at what's coming up in sports tonight. Al-Majal?
And tension continues to mount in the local tennis community. Details of that story and more coming up in sports.
Throughout our lifetime, we must all make decisions. No matter how we choose, the right one just needs to be made. Like having J.S. Johnson Insurance Agents and Brokers as your insurance partner. We've been serving the Bahamas for over 100 years. Whether you need home, motor, marine, or commercial insurance, make the right decision. Call 397-2100 or visit jsjohnson.com.
JS Johnson Insurance. Peace of mind.
Wait, where you grabbing all these pizzas, boy?
Wait, Marcos, wait. We have a special on all the large one-topping pizzas, wait.
Pineapple.
All.
Barbecue.
All. Hey, that included, but.
I need the $10 special plate.
How many of them would you like?
20 in it. Thank you so much, man. $10, that's it. The Marcos got that deal, boy.
Sting Junkanoo Group is celebrating 25 years of music, and you're invited to the greatest show ever. Counting down the years, performing hit song after hit songs. BBS, Colin McDonald, KB, Dyson Knight and D-Mac. Saturday, November 1st at the Farm Marshall Road, 8 p.m. until. Tickets can be purchased online at www.bahamaseattickets.com for your skybox or to be a food vendor. Call 424-6433, 477-0191. Sponsored by ZNS, Island Luck TV, The Farm, Gatorade Today and Co. Limited, Crystal Minute and Associates.
Welcome to your Thursday Sports Check, everyone. I'm Al-Majal Knowles, topping sports. The tension in our local tennis community continuing to mount, and we've now reached a new chapter in the saga. The Bahamas Lawn Tennis Association's elections tentatively scheduled for this weekend. A letter obtained by the Zenithal sports team sent from Director of Sports Kelsey Johnson-Sills to BLTA's President Perry Newton, advising that the association postpones its elections until all outstanding member issues are resolved, adding that the recommendation is made in a spirit of ensuring fairness, transparency, and the continued growth of tennis in the Bahamas. Now, this is on the heels of a recent protest led by BLTA presidential candidate Marvin Roll, who called for the involvement of the ministry and the Bahamas Olympic Committee. Additionally, in July of this year, the BLTA lost a Court of Appeal decision against 2 members, citing that the annual general meeting held in March 2021 lacked proper notice for proposed amendments and officer elections. Now, Zenithal sports team reached out to BLTA President Perry Newton for a response, and none was given up to News Time. We'll continue to monitor this story as it progresses. Switching gears on a more somber note, family and friends filled the Kenneth Wilkinson Gymnasium last night to pay their respects to Kenneth Heart-to-Heart Wilkinson, who passed away last month. At the time of his passing, he served as the Assistant Director of Labor, but was more widely known in the local sporting community for his basketball prowess, having played collegiately, nationally, and for a number of local teams as well. Offering his condolences at the memorial would be Minister of Youth, Sports and Culture, Honorable Mario Boleg.
Playing against Heart-to-Heart and the early days of his days in the government league. Heart-to-Heart would have had about 3 decades of great basketball as a showman in the New Providence Basketball Association. And as he got older and realized he couldn't run up and down with the younger fellas, he turned to the government league as we all did. But today we came here to celebrate the life of a legend in the game of basketball, and a man who was a legend in the game of life. Heart-to-Heart was a fierce competitor, one of the toughest big men you will have to play down in the pros. And if you were a guard like me, he would say, you weren't supposed to be down there. If you wasn't there, you wouldn't get hit.
To the pitch in soccer news, Kicks Academy has been relatively successful at the local level in producing some of the country's best youth soccer talent. The Soccer Academy and Football Club gearing up to start its 2025-2026 campaign. San Jose sports team caught up with head coach Jared Higgs, who gives us this update on the program.
You know, appreciate and love about our program at Kicks Academy, you know, we have really committed parents. And we have a strong demographic. You know, we have lots of really good soccer players, strong, fast, skillful, but it's also a safe environment for beginners, people who are just starting out playing soccer. You know, our coaches are well equipped to deal with, you know, players who are new to the field and who may be playing, you know, for friendship or more recreational purposes.
In baseball news, at the end of August, Sebastian Walcott was the 4th-ranked prospect in the minor leagues. But since the calendar flipped to September, he's making the case for why he should be number 1. Walcott's play throughout the month has not only kept his Frisco Rough Riders postseason hopes alive, but he was also named to the Arizona Fall roster as well. His latest late-game heroics came with a walk-off single to give Frisco a 4-3 win over Northwest Arkansas last night to open the final regular season series of the year. The 19-year-old shortstop is currently on a 7-game hitting streak, batting .393. And that's been a look at your sports on this Thursday. I'm Amajal Knowles, signing out until tomorrow.
The internet isn't just for surfing. There's a sea of shoppers buying online, and you can connect with them on Tingsy. Tingsy is the SBDC's online storefront built for Bahamians. Take your business to the next level by selling to customers online, both at home and around the world. People want Bahamian things, and if you got things to sell, sell on Tingsy. Find out how you can connect with a sea of buyers by visiting TingsyBahamas.com.
Today, believer, is your day of victory.
Crystal clear waters, endless pink sand beaches, and the heartbeat of Bahamian culture. This October, all eyes will turn to beautiful Harbor Island as the sail rides for the North Eleuthera Regatta. And when it comes to covering the excitement, no other station captures it better than ZNS.
The North Eleuthera Regatta, yes, it's back after some years.
Make plans to be there October 8th through the 13th. The North Eleuthera Regatta under the theme, Regatta, the return, then and now.
It's now time for your final weather check of the evening with Chief Meteorologist Basil Dean. Good evening to you, Basil.
Good evening, Royce. The tropics remain quiet again this evening, and that's courtesy of the intrusion of some dry air along the tropical belt. That, coupled with some upper-level wind sharing, will continue to keep a lid on tropical cyclone development, but that pattern could change within the next week or two. And then closer to home, we have that frontal boundary that has been draped across the Florida Peninsula for almost 2 weeks now. It will begin to sink towards the south, and that will increase the probability of showers over the northwest Bahamas, thunderstorms in the mix as well, and that will begin tomorrow. So we're looking at a wet pattern developing over the northwest Bahamas starting tomorrow. Now, your temperatures around the islands this evening: Marshall, Barbacoa at 82 degrees, 80 degrees in Grand Toll Key, Freeport, Grand Bahama also at 80 degrees, 85 at the Berry Islands and Alistown, Bimini, 84 in Harbour Island, Roxanne, Eleuthera, 82 degrees, 82 in Otterstown, Cat Island. Over in Black Point, Exuma, Kemp's Bay, South Andros, 84 degrees there, 82 in Fresh Creek, Central Andros. Georgetown, Exuma, 84. In Rim Key and San Salvador, the mercury column just around 82 degrees. And as we take you further south, we pick up some more 82s. Betsy Bay, Maguana, Acklands at 82 as well. Regatta Island, 84 degrees. Matchutani, Nago, 1 degree up at 85. And the Turks and Caicos Islands at 84 degrees. And your forecast for tonight, we're looking at partly cloudy to mostly cloudy skies. It's going to remain a bit on the warm side. Look at that low temperature, 80 degrees tonight. And then tomorrow, this is where we will see a change in our weather pattern. A thunderstorm or two developing in the late morning. Otherwise, cloudy for the greater part of the day with a high temperature reaching 90 degrees. And your extended weather forecast, wet weather expected right through Sunday. Thunderstorms are continuing of an isolated nature. And then as we head into Monday and Tuesday, we'll see the skies open up once again. But guess what? That's going to be short-lived, as we will have those gray skies with showers and thunderstorms returning on Wednesday and Thursday of next week. But the temperatures, they're going to remain pretty much below average for this time of the year, both in the daytime and the nighttime temperatures, which are slightly higher than normal. Royce.
Thanks so much, Basil. Well, that's going to do it for the Bahamas tonight at 11. Thank you for continuing to make ZNS your first choice for news and information. Only the sun covers the Bahamas better than ZNS. Thank you for watching, and good night.
At Bahama Boulevard, I'm Sean Innes. This is ZNS.